So if you're working a job or if you're working on a project and you talk to AI and you brainstorm with it and you use it to think basically, you tell it some stuff, it bounces ideas off of you and you do the same thing. What I'm telling you is that you're actually doing a huge disservice to yourself because what this ends up doing is that eventually you end up not thinking for yourself and you lose confidence in your own ability. So if you're disconnected from one of these chatbots, you suddenly think, oh, I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. All right. So here is the easiest tutorial that I can come up with to clarify your ideas without using AI. So the first thing is set up some sort of speech to text. On Windows, you can just use the Windows button plus H, and it pulls up this little thingy. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle here, but this just whatever I'm saying, it transcribes it onto paper, and it also does the punctuation if it's set it to that setting, or if you don't, then it doesn't do it. But as you can see, whatever I'm saying, it's being put on the piece of paper. And this is the thing, this is the game changer that goes from the old way you did things, of where you wrote them down by hand, you made bullet points, you did X, Y, and Z. Well, let me just do that. So you have a bullet point, thing one, thing two, thing three, X, Y, and Z, right? You add your bullet points, you add X, Y, and Z, whatever, right? And somehow you find it more useful to use AI, which has a more conversational tone. You can tell it something and it'll give you some ideas, you give it some ideas, and so on and so forth. So, this arguably is the best way to get the knowledge that is in your brain. So these are all original creative things that are in your brain, and condense it into something that's workable. So if you're brainstorming, right, you need to do this by yourself, because otherwise you can be replaced. If someone's out here and they can put one prompt into ChatGPT, which recursively makes it think and give you a final outcome, you've just lost the human touch of doing this specific job. And if you don't mind that, then sure, go ahead. Don't use AI. But if you want to make sure that you still have these creative skills and you have this critical thinking and you're doing things your way, because when you do things your way, it has a signature. People can feel, they can feel your signature on things. And so if you want to do that, you're in the right place. Anyways, that's a big ass introduction. Let's just get right into it. So the first thing is, you clarify your idea by just brain dumping. So let's say my topic is, I am trying to make a video about how to clarify your ideas without using AI. And this is what I feel that I could add to this video. I want to tell people that they want to retain their critical thinking skills, they want to retain their human touch, and maybe they care about the environment, they don't want to use AI for everything. Maybe they care about humans and they don't want everything to be replaced by AI, and they want some originality in the world. There you go. So I have this paragraph. It's pretty polished because I have done this for other videos, and I have done stuff off the top of my head. So now I'm trying to make a video about how to clarify ideas, could retain critical thinking. So now what you do is you go through the main points. So you said, I want to tell people that they want to retain critical thinking. bold that, right? And now talk about it. So how does doing this retain people's critical thinking? And alternatively, how does using AI deteriorate it? This is because when people put a prompt into AI, they are effectively saying, hey, AI, I have this problem. Now you go do your thinking, whatever thinking might mean for AI. It's just probabilistically, generating some stuff, whatever. You do your thinking and then present your report to me, and I'll read over it and I'll say, oh, this looks cool. This looks bad, right? You have outsourced the thinking to the AI. But if you use this method, you retain your critical thinking skills, because now you're having this monologue with yourself. You're thinking, it's typing, and then you go back, you read your stuff, you find the threads that you've come up with, and then you highlight them, you clarify them, and so on and so forth. So now I've just gone. Alternatively, okay, you put a prompt into AI, effectively saying all have, you're outsourcing it. Cool. You can see you're having this monologue with yourself, back and forth, find threads. Cool, right? Now you've got this second paragraph with a few things. You can say you do your thinking. So there's another thread right there. This looks cool, this looks bad, right? You're approving the AI's output. Alternatively, you're having this monologue with yourself. So we've identified a few other threads, right? We have at least 3. Maybe you can then you highlight and clarify, so on and so forth. 4 threads, right? So now you can develop this into 4 more things. And let's go back to the first level. They want to retain their human touch. Right? This is another thread. Maybe they care about the environment. Don't want to see AI used for everything related to human touch. And they don't want everything to be replaced by AI. Perhaps another thread. They want some originality, because inherently AI is backward thinking and creativity is forward thinking. So if you've trained an AI model, you've given it this big corpus of things, and it's trying to predict using this knowledge base from what you told it to give you a response. And this is from a existing knowledge base. That's backward thinking. Whereas creativity is inherently forward thinking, because these ideas haven't existed on paper per se. You might reinvent things, you might get a new perspective, but that's all coming from your brain. And you might argue your brain is doing the exact same thing, but then, that kind of voids creativity in a way. But whatever. It is quite philosophical. It's fine. All right. So now we have this sentence, and it has this paragraph, right? And then you can have the next sentence, retain their human touch, and you can have another paragraph for that, right? And then you have this, and so on and so forth. You understand what I mean. And what this allows you to do is, because you're the one generating this output, you're going really deep into it. You're going into this rabbit hole of what you already know, and you're solidifying this understanding for yourself. So you're clarifying your ideas and you're solidifying it super strongly. Now, here's another thing that people tend to forget about AI. It's that it's done all its thinking and it's given you the final result. So when you read that result, you only have the surface level. But when you go through this entire process, you're actually clarifying your ideas. So when you do it with AI, if there's a back and forth, yeah, you are clarifying your ideas. But if there's the less the lesser the time you spend with something, the less clear you are. And this is just simply true. If you ask anyone in any field, they'll tell you the same thing. The more you critically think about something, the more you think about something, the clearer you are on that topic. And that's not saying if you read a textbook 53 times you'll be clearer than someone who's done critical thinking and stuff 53 times. So here's the thing. My opinions on this are besides the point, but you've clicked on this video to learn how to clarify your ideas without AI, and I'm telling you this is the method, right? You start with your overarching summary paragraph, and you can always improve it. You don't need this is not set in stone. You can do it again. You can delete the whole document. You can try again. But the thing is, do it. If you want to clarify it, start with your summary paragraph, highlight the main threads, and then talk about each of these threads. Then go through go through those paragraphs, highlight the main threads, talk about each of these threads, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and so on and so forth. With that said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that you sat through this video. But now go out there and clarify your ideas using this method. And have a great day. Bye bye.